Hi, I got a really interesting article through Google Think today, and it's all about the experience or the trends that are happening within the retail sector. So I thought I'd talk about this, but talk about it in the way that it affects B2B companies. So in other words, trends that happen within retail often happen within business. For me, retail is kind of like the eyes of the world because they are the people that have direct contact with consumers. And whatever's happening there often relates to business purchases. And if anyone knows me really well, they know that I always talk about human to human marketing and not business to business marketing. Never ever take the people out of your marketing. That's when you make the mistake. So I went shopping on Saturday just to have a look at Oxford Street, to have a wander around and see what it was like, because I was interested to see what it's like to shop in these times. And I found it very difficult. I found the whole experience incredibly frustrating and very difficult. Wearing masks, I'm not making a judgment whether a mask is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that this is what makes me uncomfortable. Wearing a mask and dealing with people with masks on. So in other words, the shop assistants were, I thought, quite detached, quite unfriendly, and quite impatient with the people that were in the shops. That was my experience. Also my experience of things like coming down a set of very, very wide stairs, and there was a security man hired at the bottom to tell people to stop so that I could come down the stairs before they went up. I don't know, I found that really bizarre. I'm thinking that if you're that fearful, you shouldn't be out at the shops, that you should definitely focus on shopping online. My opinion again. So, but anyway, I think that retail, for one, I was always someone who loved going into retail because I think it's kind of like the eyes of the world. You go in, it's a really good experience to give you an idea of what people are buying, how things are laid out, different brands, how they approach marketing to people. I read a great book called Lingo once, and he speaks about that. He speaks about when he was trying to understand the language of his customers, who were very high end. He went to high-end shops to see how they deliver their service. So I think it's a really important factor when we are delivering B2B services to think about how retail delivers into our customer base. So anyway, I digress. I went shopping. I'm one of those people that likes to shop. I'm not so sure that I will be doing that for a very long time. I think I'm going to become a confirmed online shopper. So I think that's quite an interesting shift. And that's generally what Google think we're talking about, that people are having a much better experience shopping online than shopping offline. So that's one of the big shifts that's happened, is that people are shopping online. I don't know what's going to happen to retail space. That's going to be the interesting thing, to find out what's going to happen to these big city spaces, big office blocks, and of course in our retailers as well. Let's see what happens. But the other thing that interested me was price is not the biggest consideration when people are shopping online. They're shopping for convenience and for experience. So they want to make sure that they can get everything delivered to their house, that it's easy, that they understand the timelines. So in other words, I can shop today, get it tomorrow, shop today, get it in 5 days. What people really want from you, though, is they really want to understand your pricing, and they really want to see reviews from other people that have bought from you. So even as a B2B business, make sure your pricing is incredibly visible to people, that your UX is tested all the time. Are people having a good experience when they come to your website? Are you making them go through hurdles? Are you making them fill in big forms in order for them to get something? Don't. Keep your content as ungated as possible in order to create a really positive experience. And secondly, make sure those reviews are visible everywhere. Make sure people understand that other people are having a fantastic experience with your brand. The other thing that I found really interesting in the report was also that the increase in online research that's happening before people make purchases is significant. There's been a huge growth. So people are looking for other people to validate what they're going to purchase, and they want to know as much information as possible. Now, this is something I've told customers for years, is that people will do their research long before they talk to a salesperson. So they're coming to you as incredibly well-educated customers. My son just recently bought a car, and he spent about 3 days and a spreadsheet, and he went through everything with a fine-tooth comb to buy a car. And by the time he went to make his purchase, he went that day and he bought the car. The salesman didn't need to do the sales job on him. He'd already done it for himself. Now, people are doing this in business as well. They are making decisions before they meet you. So as a business to business business. So if your customer base, you consider yourself to business. With your marketing, what I want you to think about is search marketing and SEO. Are you investing money in those two areas? Do you really know what your customers are searching for, or are you assuming that they're searching for you and your products? They're definitely not. They're searching to solve problems. So make sure you know what they're searching for. What's suddenly increased that you need to be writing content for? Also, are you investing in SEO? So in other words, are you making sure that you appear for these search terms? These are two areas that are really key. I would suggest that you get someone on your team who is a specialist, or speak to me. I've got a brilliant person I can put you in touch with that can make sure that you're on the right track when it comes to SEO and search. So other things that you can do as a B2B business is look at Google Trends and subscribe to Google Trends so that you can see the trends that are happening. Things like working from home, how are you, what is happening around working from home, so you can keep up to date with those. And there's a great tool called Uber Suggest, which is Neil Patel, which he is just phenomenal and his tool is great. So look at those. Those are free for you to use to get started. Add live chat to your website. Make sure that you've got a live chat bot on your website so that people can ask you questions immediately. If they've got a question, they can ask. And ideally, what you want is a chat bot designed for different stages of the journey. So in other words, if they're on the checkout page, you really want that chatbot to be talking to them about the checkout process. Do you understand it? Are you clear about it? Is there anything I can answer? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Make sure your chatbot is live and that people are there to answer questions. Use Hotjar. Hotjar, or one of those tools like Hotjar, Crazy Egg. And what it does is it tracks how your visitors are using your website. Go and have a look at how people are using your website. Can you improve your user experience? And measuring. Understand how to attribute so in other words, social media, how do you attribute that to the sale that happens? Attribution and measuring in marketing is going to be more and more important as we get more and more digital. And this is something I would really recommend that you do, is you get someone in your team who's a specialist in data and understanding how to get the best out of the data that you collect, rather than just having data for the sake of it. Again, if that is something that you're interested in, talk to me and I can make sure that we put you in touch with someone special, and also to find out what you need to be measuring and how you attribute things. If there's any questions, anything like that, ask them below or send me a DM and we'll have a chat. And most importantly, remember that we will come to the end of this pandemic. It doesn't feel like it. I know sometimes it feels like it's going on forever, but we will. And think bigger. Think, what do you want your business to look like? What do you think it's going to look like? Have those big blue sky meetings. Start thinking about your business and start thinking about the future. And remember that the most important thing at this time is to be agile. Know that your customer needs are going to change and you need to adapt and grow as they do. So those are my thoughts about retail and all the changes that are happening within business to business. What is the one significant change that you've seen that you've been able to adapt to quite quickly, or you've seen and haven't been able to adapt to and feel frustrated and would love some input on it? So any questions at all, any comments, drop them below. Love to hear from you. Have a fantastic day and a good week. Cheers.